be the key elements on the product side. By the way, let me just turn off the sound here, that I don't bother you with my telephone. Optinue, key message. Promote root growth and enhance rhizosphere efficiency.
Yes.
So you remember the comment from Surah. I have soils that are very poor. How I can modify my soil? Yeah, we can grow different crops to get more root system inside. We can apply large amounts of organic matter if it's available, compost, familiar manure. But we can also use crop residues, yes, of course. But if we would like to grow the next crop, what we can do is we concentrate on how we modify the rhizosphere. And when think about rhizosphere, think about the roots and the soil that was in the plants that Surah was lifting from the sunflower, or the soil that was still attached to the lettuce. That is the soil that we call rhizosphere. And that is the soil that we need to modify and make more active, because that is the soil that is interacting directly with the roots and the nutrients. We don't need to modify the complete soil in a hectare, we modify the soil that is influencing the crop. And with that, we implement better use of resources. So what we are doing with this product, if I found the right tool, you need to always find the right tool. What we see is that what we are trying to mimic is what the nature is doing. So soil organic matter is the effect of all this macrofauna, microfauna, and the soil organic matter, or the residues of crop, to create soil organic matter. Yeah? So basically, what we are doing is mimicking what the plants are doing and the species that are living to get a soil that is active. So how we can do that? We can do that by working with the right amount of product, the right product to get humic substances, and as we saw in the field, humic substances can be a combination of humic, fulvic acid, humic acids. A compost will contain humic, fulvic, yeah?
So those three are what's giving soil organic matter.
Is what is called soil organic matter. So you can get it from compost, but the nature is giving us that for millions and millions of years. So the resources of organic matter that are rich, so you can work with sewer sludge, you can work with sediments that are coming from the soil, like alluvial soils have sediments, or we can work with leonardite. And leonardite is the deposition of organic matter that during many, many years were composting until they create a good balance between the humin content, the fulvic content, and the humic acid content. And it's characterized as one of the most active on nutrients and activity on effects. Which effects? So think about the organic matter and the humic substances as you have a container in your kitchen where you put and you store all your food. So if you have kids, my girls, that they love to eat all the chocolate that I have there, I need to put the chocolates in a special container where I lock the nutrients inside. So you can, with humic substances, you can lock certain elements. And with this one, what you create is a sponge of nutrients, especially cations like calcium, magnesium, but also the ones that we don't like to have too much, aluminium, too much iron. So all of this we try to get it out, but this one also allows us to control the effect of phosphorus in the system. Main aspect from literature is understanding this, all this concept is simple. In which form? You have a container where you put more nutrients that is activated. This container, when it's applied, or when this is applied to the soil, is creating in the root system more doors to get more nutrient and water, is activating the roots, It's activating the rhizosphere, and by the way, is improving the absorption of phosphorus and nitrogen. So basically what we are doing is we are activating our root system. So this is important because activating the root system can be by modifying a fertilizer, by applying humic substances to activate microorganisms, to activate more roots, exudate more organic acid. And someone mentioned alginate. Alex was mentioned alginate. So going quickly. So Optinue is your root growth system, and it contains some nutrients, so zinc and manganese, and these nutrients are not to cover the demand of the crop, but is to cover a specific aspect of development on the metabolism of the plant. Why? Because these elements will activate the plant. And because it's activating the metabolism of the plant, you need to clean the plant, you need to clean the cells. And the ones that are helping to clean the cells in these conditions are manganese and zinc. So think about that you are a sport guy, you are a heavy duty sport guy. When you are doing sports, you are increasing your metabolism. And if you don't clean your metabolism during that activity is when you get later on, so, I cannot walk. So you get with cramps in your legs. So this one is avoiding that the plant, that the cells collapse. That is why they are there. What makes us different? So Elizabeth explained us that the different raw material that we select is depending on what we would like to achieve. So you will have normally extraction of organic substances that are alkaline. So main differentiation, our extraction is a natural process, is grinding and micronizing on the water. That's why the pH remain of what is the pH of that organic matter, not alkaline, and that allows us to grow better and to become mixable. So that mix is one of the key aspects, but having the right effects on the roots and having the right effect of the raw material is what guarantees that we create these effects. So Alex, this is very important because these are tomato plants.
Yeah.
Just a second.
So it's very, very important. The raw material that we selected for formulation and how we formulate is guaranteed that we increase the root system and better activity of the root system. That is one of the aspects. The next aspect is guarantee that there is a good lateral root formation. That is why you saw even on lettuce that have a root system that is not very fasciculated. On the onions, you saw that they have more soil attached, more rhizosphere soil. And very important, we improve the efficiency use of phosphorus and potassium. So in the claims from Optinue that we register to the European Union as a biostimulant is a product that enhance root growth and influence the nutrient use efficiency in the rhizosphere of phosphorus and potassium. And this is proved by this example. Because we already see that one, I'm just going to jump here. So in Pocklington we did these trials, and what you see is an effect not only on the growth, you saw it on the lettuce also, but on the root system, so it's very, very important. And regarding how to calculate return on investment, we did a series of trials to get to the recommendations to different crops, when to apply, how much to apply. Now we need to validate this in your conditions. So at this moment, the recommendations that appear in the labels is the ones that we tested in different crops, in different trials, and in your conditions we start to validate with you how is that recommendation.
Results also. Results.
Yeah, the return on investment, so the reliability of the return. So you mentioned how I convince or how I get with the farmer that
That's answer for them.
yeah.
All of us.
So the return on investment is telling me if I am paying for something that is expensive or not.
You should show them the real cases from our, let's say, greenhouses or from our own fields, because like showing them with the like photos or with the tables, I have talked, we discussed this topic with Georgia. So it's not proof. So they all said, okay, you can
Show me whatever photo.
yeah, it's not proof like so to show them in the field that okay, apply this one and this one, you can see the differences with the Turkish brand, with the YARA brand, and that's it. We can enhance like that, ensure them like that, in my opinion. Let's see.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, do we have any particular method how to make the return of investments? Because it's coming in a different figures. 1 to 1.5, then it's 50%, then it's something like that and like that. And it could be confused, just if you have any recommendation about it.
Yeah.
Simple to find out.
What we said, at least for every unit of money that you apply, if you return 3, that is the target, the global target of YARA.
300%.
No, yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but exactly, this is how to calculate it, just for people to be.
It's hard, I can tell you. It's a real tough question. Sorry, to
Yeah,
calculate
it's
the
relatively
investment.
simple, but just to
Yeah,
unify
no,
the way of doing
for
it.
instance-
You're right. If you see here this example on spinach, so it said 17% yield increase.
Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't tell me if I am receiving money or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, it could be that I am losing money because I paid too much.
Yeah.
So the figure of return on investment in this case is 24. So that means that for every dollar that I invested, I received 24 out.
No, you
That is one form to explain the return on investment.
You should calculate another brands as well. For instance, Turkish brands. In our case, I'm telling you. So, for instance, this mark, Turkish brand, you should rentability. You should calculate rentability return on investment, and this one. So maybe you can buy the cheaper Turkish brand, but you can harvest like less. Let's say the product, and
Yeah.
maybe YARA is expensive, and you also harvest more. But you should calculate what's the difference between them. Maybe YARA is okay. YARA is good. They could give them more.
Yeah.
Like this harvest, but it's expensive. So you should calculate all both things with the cheap Turkish one and with the YARA. So and in there you should see the difference between them. If there is no high differences, the farmer will not go to YARA.
In some of the trials, especially in
Yeah, I understand. I mean, it's always the value of the cost and the value.
Yeah, we
What
should-
is the?
You should calculate it.
Yeah.
Calculate it. You
Yeah.
should see that.
You should take in the quality aspects, A and B.
Exactly. And you don't have this kind of time to explain it to the farmer, and farmer doesn't have that time that, okay, sit there and we will teach them, okay, this is return on investment, this is rentability. So the price always dominates. For in our case, with uneducated farmer, you see, there is a word, uneducated farmer.
Yeah.
That's a problem in the east part of Azerbaijan.
Just my recommendation.
I don't know what about your cases, but
It's quite similar, by the way. It's I don't think that there is a big difference in the mentality of the farmers across the world.
yeah, it's like almost
the
like
same.
the same.
But one point, when you say it is maybe expensive,
Yeah.
it means it is expensive. Don't take care of it. Just try not to say expensive. Talk about
No, we
optimal-
don't tell that. They tell that it's expensive.
I know.
They always tell that.
It's their game.
Yeah, and if you then say no, it's not
And
expensive.
so yeah, there's
Then
a
you have to
investment. You
explain.
should explain. I said, no, I don't have the time for that. Give me that one. And
Let-
let's go.
Let's go back to this point. So Optinue can be applied via soil. So actually you saw most of the trials we apply via soil. One of the opportunities of Optinue that other products do not have, other humic substances, is that as Linda and Elizabeth explained to us, we can mix it with products like combifos, and we can use combifos through the irrigation line. So we can tan mix and apply to the irrigation line. That's what we did in some of the trials. And that allows us to be different to capture the effect of both products. What you see is we have recommendations more in direction to vegetables, fruit crops, and later on broadacre crops. And in broadacre crops, we have very good results with potatoes, as you saw before. Any potatoes can be applied during the planting. It can be also applied via soil. It can be also applied via foliar, and humic substances can act also through the foliar system. Here the mechanism is a little bit different because the mechanism of humic substances at the foliar level is to enhance the uptake of nutrients. So we can use Optinue as an enhancer of a foliar package. But please, for the moment, don't apply a combination of foliar phosphorus with Optinue to the crops until you don't test it. Why I said this? Because in some of our trials, we did a trial with maize where we combined it, and we got good results through the roots, but we didn't get the same results to the leaves. So that is why at the moment I said use it to the soil but not to the leaves. But you can combine Optinue with other products like suspension concentrates, and then you promote the uptake through the leaf system.
So you're saying that using Optinue via leaf application is not good? At least you have to taste it.
No, the combination of phosphorus, of combifos with Optinue via leaves
Okay.
is what I'm saying.
So
We
phosphorus
have
fertilizer.
quite good result in spring barley.
In the spring barley, okay?
When it's increasing the capacity of the root. This is what we look.
Okay.
And this is showing quite a good result because when you have the logic is when you have the high capacity of the root, and if you have the nutrients, then the root will uptake these nutrients. If there is no nutrient, then of course nothing happens.
Okay.
But we only look for the capacity of the roots, and it's calculating through electrical capacity.
Electrical capacity, yeah.
Exactly, to see, because when the root is taking nutrients, it's a cations and anions.
Yeah.
This is the logic behind it. Yeah, it's a quite strange science, but it's how it's working.
Okay.
So what's the problem with it when you use with the combifos?
The thing is that in the trial that we did, we wanted to see, to get an advantage of our product being able to be time mixed with phosphorus products. Optinue against other competitors can be time mixable. So the competitors, no, they fail. Almost 8 of the competitors that we tested, all of them failed. Then we saw an opportunity, okay, what happens if we combine, for example, on transplanting tomatoes, on transplanting strawberries, to get out of the post-transplant effect. You remember in strawberries, when you transplant, the strawberries have 10 days stop of growth. And it's basically because this plant is diverting energy to other places. So what we did was we combined combifos with Optinue, and we applied via irrigation, and it works fantastic. Then we started to test if this one can work via foliars. In our experiment, works in detrimental, so it was lower than the control. But what Georgi is mentioning is that in the condition of the cereals that where he is working, it was a good advice. So, idea is testing in your conditions if this is a good opportunity to differentiate your portfolio. For example, tomato. So Alex likes tomatoes. I know that he likes the industrial tomatoes. What you see here is an example on tomatoes. So we outline Optinue, and in this case is let me see, is the foliar application. Yeah, that was the foliar application. And it was applied at different stadiums of development. And what you see here is untreated, and the application of 1 liter 7 times every other week after 2 weeks after transplant, or every other week 2 weeks after transplant with 2 liters per hectare. So what you will see here is that not always the higher rate is the most recommended one, and this is very interesting with biostimulant. So this is why we need to be really accurate with the rates of application. And you see that 1 liter was very, very important there, not only for getting the right transpiration of the plant. Remember, the transpiration comes from the root system, but it was also on production. And now, if we calculate the return on investment, this return on investment is better than that one. Why? Because this program is more expensive. It's 2 liters.
Yeah.
So we can obtain already a good yield. If you go for high yield, you go for the higher rate. But potentially, with the lower rate, you already obtain a good yield and a good return on investment. And that also reflects on the marketable yield.
It's 40 liters per hectare for season.
In this case, I would say that was 7, no, this is 7 liters. Here is 14, here is 14,
Yeah.
here is 7. Yeah.
Optimum 7.
Sorry?
Optimum 7.
I will say for me, if I go for good yield and balance on the economics, that one was the right decision.
I use 2 times for 3 liter.
2 times 3 liters, okay.
It's normal.
It depends on your conditions and how many entries you have in your field. So if you only go 3 times or 2 times in the field, then you apply that. But in these conditions, they apply every other week fertilizer.
Mhm.
So we use every time that they go in a capacity to apply something. If you have more times, you get more. You increase the liters.
Mm.
That is why you use 3 liters.
Mm. Okay, thank you.
This one is again, this is here from Spain. What we see in this yield effect, these are the chlorophyll content, and remember that Optinue can influence how nutrients are being taken up, and this is reflected on protein. So you see that there is an increase on all the conditions of greenness of the plant. So the plant was photosynthetically more active. And that represents more number of fruits, more marketable yield. And let's just to finish this one with potatoes. So this is trials that we did in the implementation in India. So I go back, Surab. What makes us different? You all have the capacity to use marketing trials, demo trials, R&D trials from all around the world to know how the product works. What is more important is how the product works in your conditions, right? Because your farmer will say, I don't care what India is doing. But at least we start to see opportunities, and this is what we bring with our product, the opportunity to see what happens in other places. So this one is the average yield of all those fields. You see, you asked me what is the yield potential. So an increase of, how I said, 4 tons per hectare?
Tons per
4 tons per hectare is already an indication. So
But it's not big harvest.
it's not big. Yeah, it's a low yield.
Oh.
Now, this is small farmers working per hand, and is not an industrial farmer. So an industrial farmer in Germany will say, give me 4 tons. An Indian farmer with 1 ton or 2 tons more, he's happy enough. Why? Because it's more money and he is doing the whole job. So cost is something different. Yeah? So why? Because the total income is what is important for this guy. So the return on investment, so the yield was not very striking, was 1 or 1.5 tons more, but is representing more money for this guy. And Surab, to finish, grapes. So something very interesting with grapes. The grapes are, correct me if I'm wrong, but grapes are producing roots, growing, dying, or getting into stop season,
Sleeping.
and sleeping, and the roots decay, and then it needs to create roots for the next season. So if this create roots for the next season, we can influence how the plant is taking nutrients. And here is very interesting, because what we see in these trials in France is that you see it's second to 4 leaves unfolded, inflorescence visible. So here we're starting to create a yield potential. here is the demand of calcium and nutrients for the growing berry, concentration of sugars. So we are influencing all the aspects.
Can you stop in there?
Yes, of course. Surya, the other thing is I can bring this to you, so we can get this the whole information. So don't worry.
Okay.
Like take the notes.
I'll just take a quick timing note and then
Yeah. Okay.
Just
So will you be sharing the presentations?
Yeah, we can share the trials, and this is part of what we need to do with the
Sure.
with each of you in your conditions to be able to grow together. So you will remember 10% of what I am saying today in the afternoon, during the dinner. And tomorrow you will probably remember
1%.
Optinue's root growth. You will remember OptiV is my oil power for my car to be able to grow. And you will remember that OptiTrack is my photosynthesis boron and zinc use efficiency.
Since you're quite optimistic.
Yeah.
No, that's why we need those presentations.
Much bigger.
At least maybe extracts that you can share with us.
So something, for sure, this one is going to be shared, don't worry. So something that is interesting. Depending on the crop, even a small increase can make a very interesting aspect. So that for yield, how you measure yield, by kilograms per hectare or liters that you bottle?
No, by kilograms.
And the industry?
Still, I mean, it depends. What do you mean by industry?
The wine producer.
Wine producer, yeah, they're getting by liters.
Yeah. So depending where we are going to influence, we can see if there is an effect. Because this is very interesting. Numbers of berry is something that influence what you show me this when they are. So the more berries that you need to stem, the more liquid, because every berry contains liquid, yeah, or contain the liquid phase. The average yield is quite similar, but if I have more fruits, I will tend to have more bottles. So this is depending where we are. So it's very interesting. So remember, promote root growth, enhance rhizophere efficiency, improve nutrient uptake. This is your motto. I need more roots. My roots are my cooling system. You have heat stress, you all said that there is heat stress, better cooling system, better root system. That will take better water from whatever that is on the system.
Because we've been said that biotrack should be considered as the abiotic stress reliever. But now, Bionue, okay. So
yeah, Bionue is also.
But then I was waiting until you finish. If you finish, then you said not to mix Optinue. So in our market it's Bionue. Bionue with the phosphor. We mixed with AgriFos.
Yeah.
And it worked well.
Yeah, and how you use it? This is for me very nice.
On the leaves, we mostly we've been using it on the trees, the Nayolki on pine.
Yeah, on pine trees. Okay.
Yeah, pine trees. Yes.
Perfect.
And it worked really well.
Very good. So now
we mixed it. We mixed it. Then I think. We did experiment. I did it myself.
Yeah.
When we took it, I used on my own trees. First, I applied AgriFos only.
Yes.
Then to the second part, I applied only Bionue.
Yeah.
And the mixture of Bionue and AgriFos. The best result I could get from Bionue alone.
Yeah.
Then the second place is mixture.
Okay.
Then AgriFos itself. But I found that the effect of AgriFos is delayed. I don't know. I could see any difference in a month or so. I don't know.
And came later.
Yes, it was delayed.
Okay.
The effect was delayed.
That is a good point.
It was the same afterwards, after the
Yeah. No, it was. So you could see because I separated. I have
you
30 meters of spines, Then I separated 10 meters, 10 meters. I put the marks, and then apply.
Very, very good. Again, this is a very nice experience. Like Georgi said for the cereals, now we see another crop where we can use it. So please dare to see the opportunity. The target is, if I'm able to produce, to sell 2 products, sometimes 1 plus 1 is not 2, it's 3. So sometimes you use 5 liters per hectare of agrifos or combifos, but it could be that 3 liters per hectare plus 1 or 2 liters of Optinue is making the effect even higher. So all of this is fine tuning, and for that we are technical guys, we are agronomists, so we can do this in our demonstrations, in your demonstration. That was fantastic.
And in each sector, I used to have 1 or 2 trees that were yellowing, not died,
Yeah.
but nearly dying.
Stress.
Under stress. They've been really dying. Half of them were already yellow. What I can say, the one that with Bionue revived faster.
Faster?
Yes, the mixture later on. But the one with the agrifos, I thought that it will be dying, so it went more yellow. Then in one moment, it revived.
Okay.
It was I don't know. I was sending the photos to my
Very-
colleagues. Yeah.
very interesting. Who else already proved Optinue or Bionue? Did you try it?
We have something problem when farmer grow sugar beet
Yeah.
and after seeding corn. And corn when started have blue or red color.
The maize is having red purple color.
Yeah, purple color.
Okay.
How fixed this? It's phosphor,
Agrifos?
agrifos, or what we want to.
Huh?
Да, вы поняли, что я говорю?
So, when maize is showing this purple color is because usually is the spring is cold.
Yeah, but when we not growing this like one field, 2 part. Here we growing
After-
sugar beet after
yeah.
sugar beet
Yeah.
and all corn red,
Yeah.
purple, and other side
No.
not.
Okay. That's called allelopathy. So some plants exude things to mobilize nutrients. So it could be that the sugar beet was mobilizing more phosphorus out of the system. So basically there was no phosphorus available. We know that, for example, maize that is coming after oilseed rape is having problem on the establishment. Why? Because the oilseed rape was mobilizing phosphorus and was leaving nothing there. So the same happened with legumes. So legumes get nitrogen from the environment and they leave nitrogen in the soil. That is why in the crop rotation, the next crop profit from the nitrogen that was from the previous crop. So if you already have this problem and you know that this is happening, is where you need to come in the application when you are planting your maize. You need to be aware that in B2, so 15 days to 20 days after planting, you need to go with agrifos. You can go with a combination of agrifos and Bionue, or you can go even with Bionue alone. So depending of how is the system. If you apply already enough phosphorus through your fertilizer, it means that you don't have roots to take that phosphorus. And that is why we apply the foliar phosphorus, because the foliar phosphorus create more roots. So we can amplify this effect. So it's very good because now you know how to get a visual effect on your customer on a problem that you know.
Thank you.
Questions?
Thank you.
Perfect. So let me finish with this one. So with OptiV, so you saw the potential of OptiV for the cereals, not only on barley, on wheat, but also on maize. You saw that OptiV was also working very good on the lettuce. Was working very good on the cucumbers. So why is that? Remember the parallel of an oil car with oil or without oil. So if you don't change the oil of your car, your machine will die. So here, the machine is the nutrients, the oiling of the whole system is OptiV. Why the oiling of the system? Promotes plant growth and enhance tolerance to abiotic stress. You saw this one before, so stress are everywhere. Here, for example, the stress on early flowering and anthesis. This is affecting, is what is called chicken and hen on table grapes and on wine grapes. In apple trees, in citrus is the dropping of fruits. And it's because we are affecting the pollen formation. So here the stress is reducing our capacity to produce. To produce what? When the plant is taking nutrients, is using those nutrients to create proteins. So basically, a protein is a mix of units of peptides, and peptides are units of amino acids. Basically, it's like the Lego. You have building blocks. If you get two building blocks together, you form a peptide. And if you get 2 or 3 peptides, you get a protein. So the proteins are important, and that is why all of us, including the plant, all organisms, have a battery of amino acids to build up with the nutrients that we are taking up. Again, simple concept. We take nutrients and our cells, like the cells of the plant, are creating building blocks, amino acids. A junction of amino acid is called peptide, and those peptides make protein, and proteins make tissues, basically. Yeah? So this is very important because in the industry, like in the nature, microorganisms are taking the organic matter and they are chopping that, because it's like us eating meat or eating sweet or something like that. In our stomach, we are chopping that to create energy. So what we can do is we can do the same process of getting proteins from animals, from vegetables, chop them either with chemicals or in this case with enzymes, and create the right combinations of peptides and amino acids to be applied to the plants. Interesting, the first ones who did this were the Romans and the Egyptians. I bet that there was someone who left something, forget a bucket with plants outside, and this is how they discovered beer and all the things, but someone just threw it away like you did with your pine trees, and they saw, oh, it's growing better. So in this case, what makes us different? The waste industry, especially the animal industry, they have a surplus of waste, and this waste is proteins. So usually protein hydrolysate in the past were from animals, from cows, from sheep, from fish, and this was the ones who were present in the market. Today, there is an industry that grow up on vegetable origin. And in the vegetable origin is because those are better signals. Signals for what? The signals to tell the plant, we apply a peptide and this creates a chain reaction in the metabolism of the plant. So basically, vegetable origin protein hydrolysates are better signals for the plant to respond and create their own metabolism of amino acids and later on proteins. Why I say they own? You can apply amino acids, but if you apply amino acid, it could be that you are giving the wrong signal to the plant, and instead of grow, it decides to stop growing. So let's see what we did here. So we have a product that is from vegetable origin, is enzymatic hydrolysis, so it's a controlled chop to know what is the amount of peptide that we would like to have. And the target is that this product is already certified, not only for the biostimulant, but it's certified for organic farming also. So this is a very important aspect because this is a concentrated nitrogen source of organic origin. So that is why it's classified as a fertilizer because of the nitrogen content that is there, and that allows us to work on the organic sector. You saw it work in different crops. So what we see now is that on cereals, where we were having not very reliable results with OptiTrack, we start to have very reliable results with OptiD. Why? Because in cereals, the demand of nitrogen and the utilization of nitrogen is even more strong than in the other crops. And here we see a very good effect. The other impact is what I mentioned, the opportunity to use with the first herbicide application to avoid the hangover that the plant has. Some of the insecticide and fungicide that are recommended today are very strong and less systematic than the previous one. Why? Because they were taken out. So for example, Mancozeb is no longer available in Europe, so you cannot use it. The ones that are coming are less effective, or they are more harsh with the plant. So having the potential of have a product that not only enhances nutrients, but also enhances the capacity of the plant to cope, for example, with this agrochemical stress, is very important. The other aspect that is interesting.
Before it was the crops were woody and
Protected crops, yeah.
Okay.
When the product was designed with the intention of more for horticultural crops. But something that we discovered during the process of working with this, you remember what I mentioned, that in the plants there are holes for respiring? So what we see is that this product allows the plant to cool down also from the leaves, not only from the roots. So Optinue helps us to create a root system to cool from the roots. This one is telling the plant under stress conditions, maintain the transpiration and maintain the change of water and oxygen. So basically it's telling the plant, don't stop, keep producing, but not to over limit. So that is why we need to fine tune with the rates of applications to avoid that this one is happening. And this is happening in different crops. You see now on soybeans, you see that now on maize, we see that on lettuce. So the rates of applications that we have allow us to help the plant to increase productivity. And this increased productivity, think about this. A plant during the day is like a Colombian worker. It started to work at 6 a.m. in the morning. At 11, it's too hot. I don't work.
Yeah.
And then they start to work again at 4 p.m. when it's again a little bit soft. And then in Colombia, there is only light until 6. So they said, it's over. I don't work anymore. Now we say to the plant, hey, let's do this. Let's work 1 hour more, even during the hot period, and start to work 1 hour earlier before you close. So basically, we are telling the plant, be productive 1 hour more, even on the heat stress or on the throw stress, because you have a better system. You saw me, I came in and said it's 27 degrees, I cannot work like this. Alex was almost sleeping. Now Alex is awake. Why? Here now we have 22 degrees. So we are able to work more. The plant is telling the same thing. we have a good temperature, we can work
Yeah.
and we can produce. And that is very important because the trials that we did is proving that we are giving the plant the chance. If you see here, tomato, maize, no stress, and then under stress, what we see is that the plant is suffering on the stress. And we say to the plant, no, there is no stress, or there is no production of abscisic acid, so there is no closure of the stomata. It remains open. Or we say, jasmonic acid. Jasmonic acid is one of the substances that are created in the plant to create responses to turgor. And then the jasmonic acid is getting up and say to the plant, maintain your stomata open, maintain your leaf active, because we are going to keep producing. And this hormone balance is telling me that the metabolism of the plant is working. So basically I'm telling the plant, you are on 22 degrees, you are not on 27. Alex, we are not going to sleep, we are going to keep working. Renko, we have 1 hour more to production, and then that hour more of production is what is getting into yield. And this is what we observe in the different trials of application. Here, for example, this is response of corn in maize. And we have other trials in winter wheat, for example. These are replicated. This is in France. And what we see here on this application, we have PVCH 30. The tillers are going to start to elongate. 32 is the first action of elongation, and then 39 is stem elongation to more or less this side, and then 40 is when the flag leaf is getting out. So basically we can govern when to apply and when to have this effect. And then we see here a jump almost of 850 kilograms. You remember that I said that 250 is the variability on a field. So we get a little bit higher there.
So what was the timing PVCH 13 and the second one was?
So tiller, when the tiller, before from tiller formation and before stem elongation, that's a PVCH 30.
Okay. And the second one
was 2 stadiums later, that is 10 days later. Remember, depending on the timing, we can have an effect. If we apply in autumn, we are guaranteed that it's passing winter. Early in the spring, we say the plant start to do it. Oh, it's raining, I cannot get into the field. Perfect. There is another opportunity. In 39 and 41, the plant is determining how many flowers, spikelets, are going to be pollinized or pollinized. So this is another time that I can apply. And in 41, I also have the flag leaf, and the flag leaf is responsible in maize, in wheat, in barley for 15 to 20% of your yield. So guarantee that that flag leaf is remaining green is very important for yield. So you have different aspects to monitor yield. And we saw this one in the before. This is more or less when you see the effect, the combined effect also with the with combifos. And with this one, I stop there. So I invite you to make questions.
Yeah. So first of all, this extreme heat is a problem. When do you recommend to start preparation? Georgi said that it should be 6 weeks before the date when the heat starts. But what should be the procedure? Give me your recommendation. When to start, how to start, what to apply, do we need to apply anything during that heat season?
Perfect. Answer. When do you take medicines when you have cold? when you
When
have gripping.
when you feel cold.
When you feel cold, but you can avoid that when you say I want to start increasing my levels of vitamin C.
Mm-hmm.
This is why my grandmother said take orange in the moon, take the mandarins, get lemon, and then increase your responses.
Mm-hmm.
So how to answer to this? Stop thinking the biostimulant as a medicine that is going to cure.
Mm-hmm.
And introduce it in the crop program, not as a medicine that is going to protect you later, but as a form to increase the use efficiency of the nutrients that you are applying,
Mm-hmm.
and getting the yield potential. So when to apply? In cereals, I need to start to prepare my root system,
Mm-hmm.
and in the case of Optivi, if I have the chance to apply this for winter cereals in autumn, that will be my first chance. There is no application in autumn. In my conditions, nobody applied pre-emergent, post-emergent herbicide. Perfect, there is no entry. So I cannot tell the guy, go there because it's too costly. When is the next opportunity? So the next opportunity in a winter cereal is early spring.
Mm-hmm.
And in early spring, usually is coming the first application of nitrogen,
Mm-hmm.
if the crop started. If the crop didn't start, my experience from Germany, from France, and from England is that they wait for the starting, the first signal of the crop, and is when the crop is like this, and then the crop make a, and they say, perfect, it's time to go with the application.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, what the farmers are doing is before the first nitrogen, they apply the first fungicide because it's wet and they want to avoid problems with that germination, with the emerging. So with the first entry, with the T1 in spring, there is already a capacity to get phosphorus, so combiphos,
Mm-hmm.
combined with Optivi.
Fifth time fungicides and after combiphos. Yeah.
You can combine both. You can combine both.
Oh.
And that is why time mix is very important. You need to test that the agrochemicals that you have used there, and then mix it. So you have that opportunity. The next opportunity is, so that I'm talking about on a winter cereal, that will be BBCH 24, 20, 29.
Then for
Yeah.
the trees,
The-
for the
the-
fruits, it's same time. So early spring, huh?
For the fruits, depending of the fruit, let me finish with the cereal. The next time that you can influence your yield is BBCA 30 to 39. Why? Because this is when the plant is demanding more nutrient and is growing. What you mentioned, a young kid is eating more. So this is a young guy, is eating more, is demanding more nutrients. So now we said to the guy, you are oily, you have your motor, and your metabolism really good to work. That is the next opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can combine nutrients. So you can combine gramitrel with this one if you have more. For example, if manganese is the demand, then you work with an extra application of Mantrac. So usually, if manganese is the limiting factor, the first application in T1 is Mantrac, and you can combine Mantrac with Optivi. And then you go with the gramitrel in the next application. Why? Because that is where you are shooting, when you have your kid running. Yeah. So that is in that case. Now Optivi in crops like cucumbers, like tomatoes, like the lettuce that you saw there. These are crops that usually have more entries from the farmer to the field to apply more agrochemicals. So recommendation, 2 weeks after transplant, when you are starting to get the machinery to grow, remember, Optivi is the machinery to grow. is your growth promoter. So then use it as a growth promoter.
I have a question. What very popular biostimulator in the world as a company? What concurrent? And what reason farmer, like he use other stimulator, give this stimulator? How I must say?
What's the advantages?
Yeah.
Okay, the question is,
Чтоб это не
if there is
означало.
other companies who have biostimulants, why a farmer is going to use YARA biostimulants? Is that the question?
Yeah, like we have a lot of изобион.
Ну, изобион, потом этот, как он еще, Валагровский,
Balagro, yeah.
мегафол.
Yeah.
Еще кто что назовет еще? Какие у вас в странах популярных стимуляторов? Аминозол.
Yeah.
Это чей аминозол?
Это как немецкий.
Немецкий
Байерс?
аминозол.
Глибозол.
Very aminosol, yeah. Very good question.
Imperial amino from ferrososis.
Like for granular fertilizers, for foliar fertilizers, I don't have. My opinion is that there is no bad products, but there are bad recommendations. So that is my opinion. It's good that there is other companies there, because then that means that we are not alone in convincing or bringing information to a farmer. The decision of a farmer to buy YARA products, or the products that you are bringing from YARA to them, depends on many circumstances. But it's difficult for a farmer that is using aminosol or is using megafol for many years to change and use OptiTrack or use OptiV. Why is difficult? Because he knows that whatever that he has is working. Why he change? He can change for the typical reason, this one is cheaper. If you bring a product that is cheaper, they say, oh, it's cheaper, I will use it. It works. If it doesn't work, he will not dare to do that. The next aspect is what else? Sometimes the decision is what else is in our offer. Is only Megafon, or is, we have Megalab, we have TAM Mix, we have potential, or for example, to train distributors if the target is discussing with distributors. So what else is in our offer? So in Balagro, they have biostimulants, but Balagro until now do not have a strong portfolio on nutrients. So we have a strong portfolio on nutrients. So we can associate nutritional package with our package to say this is a package. It's not this is Megafol, this is OptiV. No, this is a combination of Combifos and OptiV for what? Nutrient use efficiency, increasing yield potential on 12%. Where is the difference? Is Megafol? No. Is OptiV? No. Is the combination of both. Why I mentioned on the strawberries? Because our program that we are doing now for Huelva in Spain is Huelva is 3 hours with the car here south, and Huelva is responsible for 82% of the consumption of strawberries early in the season in whole Europe. Whole Europe. 82%. Why? Because these guys start planting now strawberries, and they cannot allow a 2 weeks stop of post-transplant stress. So what we did is, guys, we have a solution for you post-transplant effect, and we propose this is the package that you need to use. So Alex, what they are doing is not, they don't know if it's Optinue combined with Combifos. They said this is the package from YARA. Now they are trying to do something similar with other humic substances with phosphoric acid, and they create a mess. So the distributor that we trained, he wanted to make this cheaper, get in big troubles, and after just 1 month that I went to do the conference to them. So offering what else? I can tell you, Megafol is a good product. Have a combination of several aspects. Is actually seaweed extract with protein hydrolysate. Potentially they have vitamins also inside. For us, we see it's an interesting concept. Today we are moving in product development, and here is what I'm going to say to finish with this one, and then we get more into discussion. The next generation products that we are now developing with our colleagues from YARA is not if they contain humic substances or contain protein hydrolysate or contain seaweed extract, is specific active ingredients that trigger specific responses in the metabolism. Sometimes combining different active ingredients, and we are about to release 2 products. One product is actually on testing here, is for mobilizing calcium in the plant, which is one of the drivers of quality, and the other is a product that is for saline stress conditions, and is with specific substances that are doing the effect. So there is no such products in the market at the moment. And it's almost 4 years of development to get there. So think always what else. And is Balagro having the same offer that I have? Then what else? What else I can put? Can the farmer access nutrient contents? Remember that in YARA, through YARA, you can have a program, and this requires discussion now, buddy. Like we are doing in Georgia, we have samples of soils and tissue that are going to UK for analysis, and we get historicals of how the regions are developing, how farmers are receiving the recommendations. Can mix, you heard Linda, in 48 hours you have a report. We can program what we are going to do, because a farmer is not waiting 48 hours to make our application. The farmer would like to apply today, but we can anticipate this and create a database of what are the typical products in my area, how they combine with my program, and we create this to attack the market. What else? Yeah?
May I add one point? Because I think it's the way how to distinguish from the other competitors. It's really that we have nutrition. YARA is quite good in nutrition. The people know that. And we're coming now with the biostimulants. And we're putting all this together. We're looking for the synergy between the nutrition and the
it's like 2 key.
If you ask Syngenta, they have no experiences with nutrition. They are good in the plant protection. They have to look for their own way. Our own way is really build the synergy between nutrient and biostimulants. This is something important. I think that and at least this is what we are doing in Czechia. For your information, in Czechia we have registered 1,050 biostimulants. Honestly, I never, most of them I never seen, maybe 1,000 of them. But it's registered, somebody had it. Good, it's his job.
Going to get the last cup. Okay, any other question before I get one coffee and then we get to the discussion? Now we get more on feedback, wrap up, which questions are unsolved. If you want to kill Andres or something like that.
It's after coffee.
Just get a coffee.
Yeah.
Enjoy the mess.
Enjoy last
Yes,
coffee.
we made
Let's
a
go
mess.
for today.
Sorry, we're going to say something.
Now we wait for
Не разница.
Не разрешите. Почему? Давайте я вам это. Вообще добирать или просто? Нет, вообще.
Можно сфоткать это?
Вот заряжать меня.
Сфоткай вас.
Башка сарказм.
Работает?
Давайте сюда.
Камера сейчас.
Нет, сидот.
Ben bir anladım cilattı dediler. Bir böyle habersiz seçmesi paylaştılar. Saçıksa. Hadi bir ay.
О. Групповое фото? Групп фото? Я встану. Я, man.
Фото.
Александр, вы тоже.
Да, я сейчас фотографирую потом.
Andres needs to come as well now.
Andres is running.
No, he's coming now.
Oh.
It's not to throw you away, huh? It's just to clean a little bit here.
Так, улыбнитесь еще. Смайл.
You are not.
Photoshop,
Let me just clean a little bit here, and then
You know, there is a joke. A man should be very loud at home. He should come and seriously say, "Hey, wife, where is my broom?"
okay, guys. Now this one looks. Okay, perfect. So, when we visit more and we don't have people.
It's a picture of the place. What should be the soil here?
Okay.
Red soil.